Hello, welcome to the online video lecture series Essentials of Matlab. This is chapter 7, Graphical User Interface. This is part 2. So in the last part we have seen the components of the GUI, and in this part we will create our own GUI. So to make your own GUI, first we have to understand that what is a callback. Actually this thing I have already explained, but I want to explain this again. That callback is something to control action, or we can say executes. For example, when a GUI user click a push button or selects a menu item, then whatever the code written behind executes. So this is basically callback. And we are using guide, so we have to only do the programming for the callback. So before starting to make our own GUI, there are some steps that you have to take care of. First thing is type of user. The GUI you are creating is for the what kind of the user. Suppose if the user is non-technical, then you have to take care of that thing. Then your functions must be easy, and the all the buttons and layouts must be easy to understand. If it is for a technical user or a educational purpose, then there's a different layouts that you can use according to the user. And the main thing is functionality. You have to keep it in mind that what should be the functionality of this GUI, that this is for the user purpose, or you can say this is for the study purpose, or only for experimental purpose. So that they are the things, basically the type of user and the functionality define that how your GUI should be, and these are the conceptual things that you have to define on your own. The next and the most important thing that I think you will not follow, but when you will be having mistakes, then you will follow the third step. That first you have to draw the GUI on the rough paper. Okay, so what is the benefit of this thing to draw rough GUI on a paper? Okay, suppose when you are creating a layout, so you will simply just drag and drop the buttons and you will create a layout. Okay, and now you click on the save button. When you click on the save button, a function file will automatically generate for the layout. Okay, so if you think some button you should remove, then if you remove that button, the button will be removed, but the function in that function file will not be removed. So it will give you an error. So you have to remove that function on your own manually. So it is advised to create a rough GUI on the paper to minimize the layout editing thing. So you will be having a final layout and you will just perfectly place the buttons and you will directly. Okay, so let's start creating our GUI, and in this GUI we are creating a Gaussian graph, and that we will analyze in 3 domain using sliders. We can rotate that graph in any of the direction required by the user. Okay, so before starting the GUI, the first thing we will create a GUI on the rough paper. So let's draw on rough paper. So this is the GUI we are gonna create in Matlab, and I have created on the rough paper. So this is our GUI. This is the Gaussian 3D. This is the title. Next is your axis. Here we will plot the graph, and these are the sliders. This slider is to move your graph in the x-axis, rotation in x-axis, and this is for the rotation in the y-axis. And when you will click on the plot button, that is it is a push button. When you click on the plot button, the graph will appear in this axis, and here it is a pop-up menu. When you click on this menu, it will show you two options, mesh or surface. So we can change the type of graph that is available in the axis. And next is your axis. When you click on this button, this is actually a radio button. When you click on this button, axis will be on, otherwise axis will be off. Okay, and this is a toggle button for the grid. When you click on this button, grid will be on, and again clicking on this button, grid will be off. And the next is reset. Suppose you have rotate your GUI at certain angles, but you want to again come back to the by default angle, then you can just directly click on the reset button, so that it will come again to the default angle. And last button is exit. When you click on the exit button, this GUI will be closed. Okay, so let's start creating this GUI. Okay, so before starting, you must take care of one thing, that whatever I will be doing in this video to create a GUI, you will follow the exact same steps, and you will not even rename the components. The name I have defined here, you will use only that name. Okay, so this is for the first time, because in GUI there are lots of complex things that can be mishandled. So to first, you have to follow each of the step as I am doing, and after that you can experiment on your own, and you will feel very comfortable with the GUI. Okay, but on the first, you have to follow me word by word, or you can say step by step. Okay, so first we have to create the axis, or no, axis, not axis, you can say the title Gaussian 3D. Okay, so let's just create the title. So size, for me this size is okay. You can change size if you want to change it. Okay, so let's just click on the static text, because it is used to provide the information to the user, and we are creating a title. So once you have placed this text box, you can move this text box anywhere, or you can also resize the text box as per your needs. Okay, so I want to change the name and other features of this text box. Just double click on this text box, and properties will be opened here, and these properties are alphabetically arranged. So first we have to change the name, so just go to the string, and this is a Gaussian 3D. Okay, Gaussian 3D. So here name is changed, so name is changed, and I want to change the font size. So font size is changed, and I want to make it bold, and I want to change some colors also, like I want to change background color as blue, and foreground color I want to make it as a white. Okay, and you can change the font here also, but you must know the name of the font. So I know one name which I can change. Okay, so now the font is also changed. You can just close this thing, it will automatically will be saved, and now you can again resize this thing, or you can use your directional buttons of your keyboard to move this up, down, or any direction you want. Okay, so this is our text, this is our title Gaussian 3D. Okay, now according to this layout, we will now put the axis on this graph, on this GUI. So just go on to the axis and create an axis here. I'm leaving some space to the right so that we can put slider, and below we can put buttons. Okay, so this is axis, and now we have to put sliders. Okay, so for the slider, let's go to slider and create slider. Okay, so this slider is for azimuthal angle or x-axis rotation, and this should be one more slider, and that must be for the elevation angle. Okay, so this slider is for the elevation angle. Okay, now when we are using the slider, so first we have to change the minimum and the maximum value. Okay, so to change the minimum and maximum value, just go to the max. Okay, minimum is 0, it's okay, so we will change only the maximum value, that is 360. Okay, it's done for this slider, and now for this one you have to also change to 360. Okay, so there is a one more important thing. Whenever you click on the any of the component that is placed in this layout, so a tag name will be shown here, like you can already see the tag is slider 1, you can see tag is slider 2. So when you will save this layout, the functions will automatically produce in the function file, but the name of the component will be as the, suppose the function for the slider 1 will be named as a slider 1. Okay, so if the components are very few in the layout, so we can easily recognize that which function relates to which component. But if the layout is very large and you are having lots of components, then it will be very difficult to recognize that which functions belong to which component. So it's better to use your own tag name. So whatever the tag name you will be using here, that will be named as the function, or the function created in the function file will be of the same name. So to change the tag name, just double click on this thing and go to the tag. I'm naming it as him. So when we will save this file, for this slider, function will be created from the name of the asim. Okay. And now for the elevation angle, I am changing the tag to the elv. Okay. Uh, the One more thing, that whatever the tag name I am using here, you will be using the same tag name. You will not be changing any of the tag name on your own. So this is for only this GUI. After that, you can do a lots of experiment. Okay. Now next is what we have to put here is float button, that is a push button. Okay. So just click on push button and you can simply draw a push button here. Okay. And this is to float. Just click on string and we can say Gaussian. I should write Gaussian. Okay. And tag name is for, I'm writing Gauss. Okay, because it's for Gaussian plot. So tag name I'm using Gauss. Okay. And you can also copy and paste these buttons, control C using copy and control V to paste the particular button. So we are having the question here. So I'm creating this button as a reset. So just change the name. So whatever the name you are writing in the string, that is to show the user, or that is to provide information to the user. But whatever the button or whatever the name you are using in the tag name, that is for the programmer, or that is for you. So I'm also renaming this as a reset. And analyze one thing. Okay. In the string we are having R as a capital word, but in this we are having all small letters. So you have to follow this thing also, because MATLAB is a case sensitive language. Okay. And it's a reset button, so it should be quite more visible in comparison to other buttons. So I'm changing the foreground color of this button to the blue. Okay. So now it's quite different from the other buttons, and let's make it bold. Okay. And let's have a button for the exit, and I can resize this button. Okay. And let's have a button for exit. And exit button is very critical, so you should make it highlighted. And I'm taking the tag name as exit, and just I want to make it bold, and I want to change the color to the red. Okay. Because it is, I don't want to change the background color. I should change only the foreground color. Okay. So just click on this thing and red. Now I'm having the red. Okay. Button, and tag is exit. So whenever you click on any button, you can easily see the tag here. Tag is exit. Okay. So now we are having the all the push buttons placed accordingly. And next we are having pop-up menu for mesh or surface. So just go to the pop-up menu. Where is pop-up menu? Here is pop-up menu, and just create a pop-up menu here. Okay. And I want it to be mesh and surface. Okay. So string, go to string, right here mesh. Okay. So this is your first option. Just press enter. Now this is your second option. Okay. So we have provided a two option for this thing, and go to the tag, and I should write it as opt. Okay. The options. Okay. And next we should be having the axis and grid. Okay. The radio button and the toggle button. So the radio button, click on the radio button and create a button here for the axis on off. Okay. So I should be writing here axis on and off. Okay. And I'm naming the tag as axis. Okay. And we should have one more button, a toggle button, and that is for grid on and off. Okay. Just click on the toggle button, and we want it to use this as grid on and off. Okay, so just write the string as grid on off, and I'm renaming the tag as the grid. Okay, so just rearrange the buttons so that layout must be clearly visible, must be beautiful. Okay, so now we are having this layout. Okay, and I'm resizing this one. Okay, so now our layout is completely designed. Okay, and just cross check your tag buttons, tag names, because once you saved this thing, the tag name you cannot change basically for any component. So you have to delete the component, you have to delete the function, and then you have to again create the button to change the tag name. So this for asim, the elevation, Gaussian, and option, axis, grid, reset, and exit. Okay, now just click on the save button. So whenever you will be saving this GUI, so a function file will be created automatically having all the functions. So just click on the save, and it will ask you the name. So let's just rename it as GA. We are naming as Ghosh 3D. Okay, so you must be using the same name as I'm using here. Okay, just save it as Ghosh 3D. Okay, and the function file will be automatically generated and opened here. So I think we have to wait for the file. Okay, here there's a file. So this is basically the function file. Okay, and you can easily analyze. We are having lots of functions here. Okay, so keep one thing in your mind. You need not to change the initial three functions of your GUI. First is Gaussian 3D, that is the main function, and next is your Gaussian 3D opening function. We will not be changing this function also, and the third is output function. Okay, so these three functions you need not to change, and other functions we can change accordingly. So to just move on to another function, you can directly scroll up or scroll down and you can find out your functions, or you can just use the go to option here. We just click on the go to. So we are having all the functions for axis, asim, elevation. Okay, and exit, grid, opt, reset. Okay, and there's a one more thing, that we are, for assume we are having callback and create function, so you need not to change create function. Okay, so we will be only writing our command and the programming in the callbacks. Okay, so before writing any command, just let's run this program so that we can analyze our GUI. Okay, so you can run it from here, and this is our GUI that we have created recently, but all the buttons are functioning conceptually, but the callback is not written behind, so no function performs when you are clicking on the buttons. So you can see a lots of options are here, and you can just function the button. You can just click on the buttons, but it's not doing any kind of function because we haven't tried the callback yet. Okay, so first of all we should write the easiest callback. Okay, so let's just go to the exit, that is here, exit callback. Okay, and in exit callback, okay, there's a one more thing, that in every function you are having three input arguments, so like h object, event data, and handles. So event data is used for the future version and reserved for the future version, so you need not to change any of the input argument, and or basically the event data. And h object is basically is a handle. Okay, handles to the ghost, this GUI. Okay, so by this you can access any of the function. Okay, and the handle is basically a structure for this GUI holding all the functions, and you can call each of the function using the h object. Okay, and handles. So we have to program the exit first. Just come to here, and do you know what is the command to close the graphical windows? We have uh, I told you this command in the fourth chapter, that is graphics chapter. The command is close. Okay, close. And what is the name of our GUI? Gauche 3D. Okay, so GAUS Gauche 3D. Okay, that's it. Just click on save, and run this thing. Okay, now if you click on the exit, this thing will be closed. Exit. Okay, see, so our button is working. So in this way you have to just write your callbacks behind the functions so that every function can perform accordingly. Okay, okay, so let's just program another function. Let's just call back for the another function. So we should write the callback for the Gaussian first. Okay, so that graph can appear here. Okay, and just we have to move to the Gauss. Click on go to and Gauss, only Gauss. It, it, uh, where it is, we have named it as Gauss folder. Okay, here actually the name is same, Gauss, and the file name, that's why we are confusing. So just click on the Gauss callback. Okay, and here you have to write the command to plot your Gaussian graph. So I'm going to tell you a shortcut command to plot a Gaussian graph. So you can use the F special function that is from the DSP toolbox, and there we created filters. So we are using that shortcut command. So you can just write H is equal to F special. F special is the command to create the filters. So first we have to define the type of the filter we are creating. Okay, Gaussian, and then we have to define the matrix, or we can say dimension, 100 by 100. We are using the 100 by 100 dimension, and then we are using the variance of this Gaussian graph. Okay, and to plot this matrix as a surface, you have to click on, you have to write surf, you have to write surf and H. Okay, okay, so to run this thing, just click on the run, and you have to click on the Gaussian. When you click on the Gaussian button, so your graph is here, this is the Gaussian graph, but now you cannot rotate this thing. Okay, so we will write the callbacks for the sliders also. So let's just write the callbacks for the remaining buttons. Okay, these three buttons. So first I'm writing the callback for the axis on off and the grid on off. Okay, so just go to the axis callback. Okay, in this we are having axis. So hint is already given here. You can use the get function to obtain the value. So I'm just copying this function. Just write x get h object comma value. So whatever the value, 0 or 1, because this button, radio button, is having only two states. So we are having the value according to that button, and simply you can write a if condition. If x equal to 1, then you can say grid on. Okay, else grid off. Okay, in this way you can use the grid on and off. Okay, now the next thing is axis on and off. So just copy this command and go to the axis, and where is axis, just go to the go to and axis button. Okay, so we have write the wrong command here. This is the axis callback. We should write axis on and axis off. Okay, now we should go to the grid and go to, and just find out the grid. Okay, grid is just below there. Okay, we can just copy and paste this command here. Okay, now there's a one thing, you're getting the values 0 or 1 in the x here, and you're also getting the value of the grid button in the x here. So will it affect each other? No, it will not affect each other. As I told you in the function chapters, that every function, each and every function have its own temporary workspace. So whatever the value is written here, or whatever the variable is defined here, is not exist for this function. So both of the function have different workspace, so it will not affect the value of x. Okay, so just save this thing and run. Okay, now click on the Gaussian. We are having Gaussian plot, and you can just click on axis on and off. Okay, and similarly you can click on grid on and off, grid on and off. Okay, so these buttons are working accurately, working perfectly. So let's do the programming for the pop-up menu. Okay, mesh and surface. Just go to the pop-up menu, and for the pop-up menu we are having the opt. Okay, and in the opt, it is already given in the hint that how you can get the string and how you can get the value. Okay, I'm gonna obtain the value here. Okay, so you can just write, suppose x, I'm again using x here. Okay, get attribute value. Okay, so if I'm writing x is 1, you need surface plot. Let's just check what is surface or Gaussian. Okay, it's mesh. Okay, so if it is 1, you will be plotting the mesh, else you will plotting the surface. Okay, but the main thing is we have used the command mesh and surface, but we haven't provided the data here yet. So you can again write the command that we have used in the Gaussian. Just copy and paste this command. Okay, and just write this command in the opt menu. So we are having h as the filter, and just write mesh h or write surf h. Okay, so if the first menu is selected, it will show the mesh h, the right will show the surface of h. Okay, just save on the save button and click on run. Now click on the Gaussian button. Okay, we are having the Gaussian function, and if you change the function like mesh, so it is mesh, and now it is surface. Okay, so in this way you can change the options. Okay, and also other buttons are also working. Okay, grid on and off. Okay, so let's just write the callback for the slider, and let's move go to, and we are having azimuthal angle and the elevation angle. So first we want to go to the azim callback. Okay, so in the azim callback, again the hint is given for the slider here. It's automatically hints are given. Okay, so we want to access the value, so we can write az. Okay, this is the value for the azimuthal angle. Okay, and I want to rotate the view, so you can write the command view, and whatever the value is in az, you can write az. And the second value, we are not having any second value, so I'm writing a normalized value, that is 32. 32 is a very common value and a very, we can say, normal angle view for the elevation. So simply we have written this thing, and now it will work for the azimuthal angle. And same type of command I can write for the elevation. The elevation angle I'm also writing ez, I'm writing el. Okay, and also changing the commands 32 comma el, because the first argument belongs to the azimuthal angle and second arguments belong to the elevation angle. Okay, just save this thing and run this. Okay, and let's run this again. Run. Okay, now when we click on the Gaussian graph we are having here, now if you click on the slider button, it's rotating in the x direction. Okay, and now when you're clicking on the y axis, so it's rotating in the elevation angle. Okay, so there is a one more button left that we haven't write the callback yet, that is the reset button. So if we click on the reset button, it must be in the by default previous angle. Okay, so to write the callback for the reset button, go to the reset. Okay, and in the reset just write view and 32 cross 32. As I already told you that 32 and 32 is a very basic normal viewing angle. Just run this thing, and now we are having the Gaussian graph. Okay, now just move this graph in any direction. Okay, click on the reset. Now it's in the reset state, the basic viewing angle. Okay, so now our all the buttons are working, like the slider is working, this slider is also working. Okay, and this is mesh and surface is also working. Okay, your axis on and off is working, grid on and off. Okay, and reset, and finally the exit. Okay, so this was all about how to create GUI. Okay, but there is lots of things that we should change in this GUI, but this was all about for this part, and next we will see a lots of things that how to improve this GUI in the third part. Thank you very much.